Yes, I am cursing and I am praying, and you deserve it. Now just forget about this case, this point. I would like to talk about a certain uh, thing here. It's about relevant of how I started. But see, I'm not considered a happy person. Yes, my believing system is helping me. That's for sure because it's accurate and perfect. But but it's not a happy life. The life of, there's a lot of memories, a lot of problems, a lot of disgusting things in relation to those who are taking something not theirs and affecting my life. Causing all of this humiliation, terrible. Anyway, it's not. This video is not about me. I'm just. I need to explain things here. It is a must to explain it. Those who call themselves Israelis, the Gohem, Gentile Jews, either they want to relate themselves. They are originally from Europe or Africa or Iran or Russia or whatever, or Gypsies or Europe Indians or Marsyrians or Turk, whatever. Those people in Europe mainly, the European Jews and European Jews. And also in Russia, before the Communist Party, the Jews by the so-called Christian used to be looked at as a second degree. That's why when the Red Army came and they all accepted what Lenin brought and Marcus and Bolshevik, no more religion, they start being part of the Communist Party. And I have explained that at the war between the Nazis, they were to a certain level dealt by the so-called by the Communist Red Army. Those who have a so-called Christian background used to deal in an equal basis with the so-called with those who have a previous so-called Jewish background in Russia. And I mean, uh, it was no more hush toward them of the Communist Party in comparison to what they used to deal with before. Now they are part of Russia. Okay, they are Gohems, who their leaders do its best to drag their communities, the monks, Chachams, drag the community to practice what they considered Judea, which is cult. In Europe, after World War II, the society, the community in Europe starts looking the elite, the political system, after establishing the so-called Israeli state. They start recognizing that the history of the Jews in Europe is a terrible history. Now, it's a change. It's a time of change. Now, at this time, I'm going to talk about the spiritual planet concerning dunya. In Europe, there is a huge. Let's talk about the figure. The European spiritual representation in a taghut. I don't know how to explain it. This creature is looking to those who are calling themselves Jews as a people who was treated with disrespect for centuries, and this granted those who call themselves Jews a power. This power can be evaporated, vanished with time, part to part. So at the 50s and the 60s, no one would dare criticize the Jews the way it is right now. Why? I'm serious. Why? Because the European person at the 60s and the 70s used to this taghutic spirit used to look to itself in shame. Why we did this to the Jews? Why they dealt with all of what they dealt with through centuries and even before. Either you want to consider it a lie or truth, the Holocaust, This is irrelevant. They have dealt with some certain type of persecution, even other groups. I mean, at the end, it is part of the history, the dark history of human how they deal with each other. Now, those who are calling themselves Israelite, now this is what the devil want. He want to grant them this support by this spiritual taghut, which is concerning nation, the kingdoms, planet kingdoms, the kings, the kings on planet Earth. I don't want to go deep in the spirit. To be granted the biggest support, starting from the European whites to those who are calling themselves Jews, to establish this so-called Israeli. I mean, this prime minister in Spain said the first line of defending our nation from Islam is the so-called Israeli state. No, he shouldn't say this. He shouldn't. No, he shouldn't. Because he thinks that the Holy Land should be a so-called Christian. No, he shouldn't. He thinks that the European people should be settlers in the Holy Land because they used to be there and Muhammad kicked them. This is a lie. They used to be an occupier, starting from the Roman. No, this is irrelevant. I'm not talking about history. I'm talking about this power is being evaporated. Do you understand me? Day after day. How, Tariq? Children are being killed in the Holy Land. A lot of bombs. Look at the last time. 60 children, almost. We're talking about 60 children dead. 60. No, don't even talk about the rockets. Don't even talk about self-defense. In the so-called Israeli state, occupiers, and for example, Tel Aviv, and occupiers, and for example, any other, a lid. If someone in the lid, among the so-called Israelis occupiers, was attacked by any native Palestinians, all those in Tel Aviv, emergency power, the police, will send all assistance to eliminate any type of resistance by the Palestinians and continue taking their houses and stealing their land. So what Hamas did is absolutely legitimate. Okay, look what they are doing in Sheikh Jarrah. Look what they are doing. Oh, the Sheikh Jarrah is a small story. People just the pressure always will result in explosion. They explode. It happened. Oh, I mean, Sheikh Jarrah is nothing in comparison. I mean, some of the so-called Israelis said, why they are making all of this noise? We used to take all of their houses and that's it. Pressure, explosion. Pressure. This is how it is, the public. Now, this is not also the topic. The topic is this power is being evaporated in the mind of the European, in the mind of the Western. There is a God for them. Those people do not worship God. I'm sorry to say this. Europeans are worshipers of the devil. You are a worshipper of Satan. Don't be angry with me. You can say whatever you want. I'm not talking about all. You can say your God Allah is Satan, Muhammad is a liar. You can say what your Messiah has done. You can say, but I'm now here explaining. This God of them, the king of the European, who is a devil servant, in relation to the so-called Christian faith and the cross. I mean, look at the so-called Christian church and bishop used to bless those soldiers who used to went to Iraq. And they found a chance. They found a chance. Yeah, it's a so-called Christian. We will take our place here and the religious level and bless those who go, yeah, democracy against the dictator Saddam. It's a crusade. George Bush Jr. I mean, this king, they cannot see it because they are just slave of Satan. I'm not talking about all. I'm talking about the majority. Please don't delete the video. Now, this king of this particular nation is not like before. Not like before 30 years, not like before 40 years. The people, now I return back to Satan. Satan, what he's doing? He want to give all support before and help in not evaporating this power, which is assigned to support those who are calling themselves Jews, especially when it's come to the so-called Israeli state, to be a virus occupation in Middle East for one purpose, destroying Islam. Listen, you disagree or agree, this is another story. I'm explaining to you the truth. If you do not want to take it, this is my opinion, and please don't delete my video. Once Islam is destroyed, listen to this. Once he reached that level of destruction against Islam, what's happening in Saudi Arabia? Oh, I have no time to explain. What happened in Iraq, empowering the so-called Shiite. I consider the so-called Shiite non-Muslims. It's my right. Please, they are not Muslims. Okay. Again, the so-called Shiite are not Muslims. Don't delete my video. You are gonna use this and make a conflict between the two Muslim sectors. This is your problem in choosing the path to hellfire. Now it's serious. I'm talking about who is empowering the so-called Hindus in the Arabian Peninsula and challenging the instruction of God. The so-called Israeli state is a big factor, okay, in destroying Islam. The submission to God Almighty, the path that is gonna overcome what is considered darkness before Allah for humanity. This is bring all of this troubles, all of this deception, deceiving, reaction, manipulation, whatever. The whole bag of the fire. Its so-called Israeli state is a big factor. Now, once he achieved this level, and listen to me carefully, all of this power which was handed to the those so-called Jews and so-called Israelis will be evaporated. Okay? And the whole Gog Magog, who among them some Jews, oh definitely, like the Ashkenazis, like for example, Rothschild is considered Gog Magog, among the Gog Magog, Gerald Kushner. Once that level is approached, something will happen. Either something concerning, I'm not going to talk about any scenario, economy, society, political, I don't. Once it's approached, the devil will do his best, because now the devil will do its best to eliminate and evaporate this power. And at that time, people will say, you know what, you deserve Holocaust. You know what, you're bad people. You know what, we shouldn't even support you. You know what, we don't feel any more sorry for you. It's part of the history. Look what you're doing to the Palestinians. Look what you're doing to the native. Look what you did. He wanted to reach her. At that time, tick, tack, tick, tack, tick, there is a prophecy in Quran. And there is a lot of confirmed hadith talking about eliminating all Jews. Now, all Jews need to listen. Eliminating anyone who relate himself to a Jewish faith or considered consumed by a Jewish parents or whatever, or who used to be a Jew, he's gonna be fucked. Now, this is in the future, not now. Just to explain to you how terrible you are working as the devil want. Now, this is the first part of the video. The second part of the video, I had enough. I had enough with the rubbish, dirty accusation to Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the rubbish accusation against Islam. Listen, Quran, nothing wrong in Quran. Hadith, you can take the hadith that you find that it's an evidence for you against Islam and shove it in your ass. It's have nothing to do with the truth. And before I say this, why don't we read the so-called book, the book called Bible? Have you ever read Torah? I mean, when I read Torah, I see the character of Satan himself, the father of darkness. Wallahi, I see him. I see him in the dark. I see a dark, terrible, disgusting cockroach God. Satan. Okay? Maybe something less, because it's a different taghut. Disrespectful to humanity, disrespectful to women, showing absolute unmercy on human. He is not playing on the terms of examination, test to humanity. He is filled with contradiction. He is empowering Satan. This is in the Torah. This is the devil. This is the God. This is their God. And when I go to the Injils, oh my God, the characters of the filthy Antichrist, the pig of earth and other taghuts, the Antichrist, demon, dirty characteristic. He's not the son of Virgin Mary, the Messiah. And in the Torah, you don't see God Almighty. That's why it's manipulated and corrupted. You can see the Antichrist, a sick, deceiving cockroach, servant of Satan. Yeah, in the Injil. but you do not read the Injil. You take the part which is considered good for you, and you forget the things that the devil have put to even bring his own ground of excuse, saying, "Oh God, I'm explaining about myself and my servant, the Antichrist, and look at them. They are attacking the Islam and causing reaction, lying about the history." I mean, someone came and a lot came and say, the Ottomanic Empire did that. Turkish Empire did. Well, the Ottomanic Empire have reached this level of low level, the low level because of you. What? Yeah, Dracula and his way of torturing people. He's an Eastern European nationalist. The nationalist in Europe and racism. Who brought it to Turkey? Your type. The group who was allowed to sit there, who even had something to do in Holy Land and stealing lands and buying land. Why don't you see this? And I have explained, and everyone is explained. At the end, it was a Turkish empire. No more Turkish. Armenia, the Armenians, with due my respect to good people among them, there is wonderful people among them. Their history is dirty. Oh, rotten, even between each other. Shh. Greece is considered the point of slavery to the whole world. Thousand years, eliminating thousands of people, raping, killing, all armies that committed the worst crime that you ever can imagine, even at the time of Alexander the Small, after or before. Look at the great, they call him. Look at the crimes, and, and until drinkers, until previously. This is it. This is it. I'm not talking about. Maybe you didn't hear them. There's people outside. They always make noise in this area. It's very late right now. They fight sometimes, attacking each other. The police came many times. They always come to this area anyway. What I'm trying to say is, so at the end, the Turks have committed maybe a lot of crimes even against the Muslim Arabs. This is why the Muslim Arab went to England and asked for help against the Turks, because they took it so far at the end. No longer an Islamic rulership. Just they call themselves Muslims. Khalifa. He's not, with great respect to the man himself, yani, as a human being, late Muslim. But really, I mean, study what happened before Ataturk and study what happened after Ataturk. That's why we need to show respect to Erdogan. Do you understand the point? I mean, when you go and you mess around, why am I uploading this video? I'm uploading this video because I have dealt with a lot of problems, not by the agents, the Gulf State agents, no, by a lot of things concerning the whole world, starting from Gog and Magog, the West, Russia. Understand me? So-called Shiite. Someone have created a disgusting. I mean, you don't want to be. Who want to be in my position? Except those who are in a worse shape. Definitely, there is a lot of people who are in worse, and I'm sorry for them, unless if they deserve it. I'm not talking about the victims in the Holy Land, the victims in Syria, the victims in Iraq. No, I'm talking about some bad people, for example, on jails. There is people in jail who committed a terrible crime, raped a child, killed a child. You deserve to be in jail. Fuck you. For a long time and deal some part of the world. I mean, South America, the jails in South America, terrible. But maybe you deserve it. Fuck off. I'm sorry. I'm not a Muslim here by saying this because, anyway, this is not the way of. But this, as I said, it's a personal case. You understand me? Someone have created this disgusting issues which I'm dealing with. Okay, the so-called Shiite, there is a lot of manipulation in their books. And listen to me, there is a lot of their leaders who say that Quran comes second degree in comparison to their books, which allow them to fuck young children. I'm not lying. Don't delete my video. It's there in the books. Don't delete my video. The Torah is fucked. I'm not going to talk about the Talmud. They are saying that the Talmud is more important than the Torah. Into the Talmud, oh, I don't want to say this. In the Talmud, you will understand how Hansel, his daughter, committed suicide. You will understand. I'm not going to talk about it. Please don't delete my video. So this thing is not recognized by Netanyahu, the freak prime minister. He's not. This boy is a Satan child, and he's going to hellfire. He do not know it. They think this is so. This is how the devil is spitting and peeing in their mind. Okay, and shitting in their mind. As'alullah salam. I ask Allah protection. I ask Allah protection. And many of them believe you came back and things like that. And they don't understand the divine plan. Now, those who call themselves, those who, again, it's not about the Torah and Injil. I mean, go to the so-called Hindus and read the ancient scriptures. You just want to spit and shit. I mean, sometimes, I mean, if you take this ancient, the so-called Buddhists, so-called Christians, so-called Jews, so-called Hindus, so-called shit, if you go and take these books, you honestly will use some of these papers that they consider and relate and they consider it basic to them to clean this dog shit. And I mean, if I do it, I would say, I apologize, dog shit. You don't deserve to be cleaned by these documents like the Torah, some parts of the Torah or Injil or Talmud, or the ancient scripture which is fucked. Of those who are so calling themselves Hindus or Buddhists. But now let's talk about the biggest group, Gog and Magog, and exactly. Did you hear the Flash? I should bring him some of these books to use it to clean his ass. Not Quran. No, not Quran, because I had enough. I'm living a normal life, a modest life with my family, and I always see it in comments. I always see it in videos. When 2005, 6, 7, you just need use Quran. I use it in the toilet. Why you wanna use the Quran in the toilet after all of this shit you did to us? And you are encouraging who? The so-called Hindus. So who's starting from the so-called, I mean, Gog and Magog, the biggest dark group on planet Earth, and the so-called Shiite attacking us Wahhabis and attacking the scholars, attacking the monks, and they forget what they are doing. And at the end, it's a personal case. Wallahi, I asked him, and today, I was a little bit, today I wanted to take a shower. Wallahi al-Azim. Don't delete my video. But I'm telling you to explain to you that I'm struggling. I want you to be happy, to enjoy it. No, I'm talking about certain people. And today I just buy bottles, put it, throwing it in the waters. You put it in jar. I don't know how to mention it. And then I throw it in my. Good. It's fine. The weather is fine today. I need to take a shower. No normal shower. And there is places that offer the homeless people some showers, but it's a little bit far away from me. And today I didn't walk a lot. I didn't find I'm not in the mood. So why I'm dealing with this? I'm dealing with this because it's serious. If I am fine, there is a lot of things in my history that's why. So I have the right to explain. Do you understand me? Now the so-called the so-called anti-Zionist Jew, those who call themselves anti-Zionist Jew, they are aware of this. They are aware, and they don't want this to be evaporated. They are saying, fuck you so-called Israelis. Who's saying this? But they are not saying it this. They are mannered people, mannered gentlemen, lovely, caring families. Thousands of them. They are not a lot. Calling themselves anti-Zionist Jew. Mainly of the European. They don't want this to be evaporated. This power. So many among them are saying, first of all, this have nothing to do with our religion. Definitely what they relate themselves to. And definitely Islam have nothing to do with it. But these people want to call themselves Jews. Islam is tolerance. It's your right. This is something between you and God. And they don't want to create an unjust. And that's why they criticize the so-called Israeli state. And so many among them are wondering. I've talked to so many of them. Not many, little. They are wondering. They say, oh my God, if I am a Jew, like Netanyahu, and I am there in the Holy Land, I will do my best to see Palestine, to cut it 50-50, and give the Palestinian maybe 70% of Jerusalem, and maybe take this wall, if I insist, for a reason. And stop killing the Palestinian and try to make Mahmoud Abbas, or Mahmoud, or even Ismail Haniyeh, the president of Palestine, push to this, and beg them, please. 45% or 50% or 45% is for us, the so-called 55. And the Muslim world, we want peace and we want to be happy with you, and you understand me. Though it is wrong, but those who call themselves anti-Zionist Jew are saying they should do this because look at Sheikh Jarrah, taking their houses, killing the children, doing all of, if we have a file, it will be more than 10,000 paper of the great unjust that occurred in Middle East, starting from against the Palestinians, natives. If we have documents, it will be thousands of hours explaining about the bloodshed, sadness that they caused. This is evaporating the power that Satan have assigned by the Gog and Magog to be in the favor of those who call themselves Jews. Do you understand me? Now, I can say that almost maybe a huge amount, portion of it is evaporated. The people looked Jews at the 70s, not the way they look. At the 70s, they used to say, a lot of them, why we did this? Because their Satan is imposing this in their souls. Why we did this to the Jews? We need to support them in the so-called Israeli state. And comes with it Islam and things like that, and the so-called Christian cross, the Antichrist, the pig of earth. Now, at the 90s, after 2000, Jews are smart, artists, actors, born director, born no, whatever, economical, rich, smart, and they want, you understand me. With time, and this is how the devil is doing a balance to it. I'm serious. The devil, this is how he work it. But in general, he look at the power of science on planet Earth, and he want to work it and take it to work to his interest. He look at the armies of planet Earth, the armies, and he want to take the armies to work for his interest, not the interest of humanity. The medical services, he want to use it to work more, for example, all type of unacceptable, like surgery, beauty surgery, for example. The science is have reached a level where he can make normal, wonderful girls prostitutes. Look at the model, my sister. Look how she used to look, and how they did all of this operation to her. Science. He wanted to work for your faith. You understand my reason? I mean, that's it. I'm not going to talk about more. All of this. So he's doing a balance. At the end. At the end, I need to close. At the end, this is being evaporated. So I feel the what those who are calling themselves anti-Zionist Jews are dealing with. They are really, some of them are intelligent, smart, and they just and they look at the future. They are not like the so-called Israelis. The so-called Israelis are working the agenda of Satan, and I have explained. I talked about definitely. I'm focusing on the groups, so I can talk about the so-called Hindus and show you how rotten some aspect of them is when they deal with history or truth. The rottenness, maybe sometimes worse in some aspects, some are better. The so-called Buddhists, the atheists who have no conscience, they are less than animals. The communists, those who call themselves communists in China, Russia. And I can talk about Africa, for example. I don't want to talk about Africa. I know that today I met some Africans in this. Today some this center which serve wonderful people. Most of them are so-called Christian, wonderful people, lovely people, nice people. Are definitely Muslim scholars, but I'm just saying. Yani, I'm not always saying good things about Muslim. No. Even there is non-Muslim wonderful people. But I can give you things and examples. South America, other parts of the world. But now I'm Europe, the history. I'm the so-called Christian. Now I'm talking about the Jews. Jews, on regard of end time prophecy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explained to Muhammad. He said, Habibi, my fine messenger. Do you want me to explain this way? Fine, damn you. Habibi, my fine messenger. Please let him know, Muhammad, that those who call themselves Jews are bringing my wrath and anger. And there is different scale of bringing the wrath. A huge look at the so-called Israelis. This is unbelievable high scale of bringing the wrath to humanity and to themselves. And God have made, he said, at the judgment after the judgment day, I shall enter those who are failure, not submitted to me, to hellfire. Group after the so-called Hindus, the so-called Buddhists, and they have some groups. Shh. shut up, shut up. Please don't delete my video. The so-called Shia, they are groups. Yeah. I'm telling you now. The so-called Christian groups to hellfire. Come on, go to hellfire. Unless طبعا I'm not talking about those who are saying there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is the final messenger. As Satan, he can make you look at a devil figure and say this is Muhammad. This is how you are a servant for the devil. This is not my case. Use your brain. Read the first verses in Quran. Read. Will you think? Will you think? Will you use your mind? أفلا تعقلون? Will you use your? God is saying, قلوبكم صم بكم عم. In your heart there is غشاوة, there is something darkening it and covering it so that you're not. I'm not talking about myself. I'm under His mercy, and if I am doing something wrong, I ask Him to forgive me and to show me the path. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. God, show us the accurate right path and make us follow it, and show us the wrong bad path and help us and make us avoid it. Allahumma ameen. So I'm just telling you, I'm talking about those who call themselves Jews. God, Allah sent to Muhammad, peace be upon him, his final messenger. We don't worship him, the teacher of mankind, Muhammad, peace be upon him, the master of the human race, and other, peace be upon him, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who we only worship, who sent Muhammad, Messiah, son of Virgin Mary, and I have explained, and all messengers, in the east and the west, and all within the divine plan. Noah, before Noah and after Noah, and until now and after. Of course, there is only one, the Messiah, when he returned back. There will be no other messengers. Only us, this is a different story. But now, God said, tell them that you Jews, He prophesied to Muhammad that there will be an establishment of a Goham so-called Israeli state. He said this, that they will use the name of Israel, and what is built by a manipulation by the name of Israel, and this is the language of Quran. It's hard for even those who speak Arabic as a mother tongue to understand it. We're talking about 14th century. Anyway, he's saying, I have prophesied to them at the time of Daniel that they will return back, the real Israelite. Some of the Israelites, well, not all of them were in Iraq. Some of them used to be in the Arabian Peninsula. But when they returned back, they built the Masjid al-Aqsa, which only the believer can enter it, like Masjid al-Aqsa al-An. The believer, the real Muslim Hanafis, must only enter it, not the others who are representing najasa and darkness. Rijs. I don't know how to enter. They shouldn't. This is the instruction of God. It's no longer Yehudi and it's Hanafi. And he said, by my servant, my messenger, my word, my blessed son of Virgin Mary, messenger, I have prophesied that this temple, this Masjid al-Aqsa, this house of Allah, house of Yahweh, shouldn't call him Yahweh now, except by explanation, it's only intention, and it was destroyed based on his prophecies, and that he was the Messiah, and he rise. This is a fulfillment. This is another story. It needs a lot of explanation, the Messiah and his rule, and he shall return back. And now I am prophesying by you, Muhammad, peace be upon him, the final messenger. Allah is saying this, وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, and he have the highest example, which is suitable to him. So I shouldn't talk like if I am in his position. A'udhu billah. No, I'm only in this creation which he created, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma ameen. Now, he prophesied that there will be an establishment to egohemic sadist and so-called Israeli, and he have explained about many things. And he also said that at that this will open something, another prophecy, the elimination of the Jews on planet Earth. And he talked about the tree that is found in the Lebanese flag. Don't delete my video. I'm not hallucinating. I'm saying truth. Now, the hadith is there. Maybe I am not understanding it perfectly. This is another story. But it's I have the right to explain as the way I want. Now, when human, there is different type of hadith, because so many libraries. A hadith talking about all human attacking in the trees for a scientific reason. They are different, maybe something to do with, I have explained both ways. Either it's scientific or it is either it's scientific or it's either it's scientific or it's I mean, some materials like the wood cannot, they will have this type of machines that find who's behind the trees or stone, whatever, or it is a spiritual symbol. I mean, Muhammad said the qarn of shaitan, the century of Satan, and look what we're dealing with right now, this century. I've talked about this, Allahu Akbar. Now what I'm trying to say is, this is still the end times, the final stage of end times, not yet to come, but we are in end times. You don't listen to the dark groups, monks. You go and study yourself, or listen to those who have knowledge. Of course, by Islam. Otherwise, be a good atheist with conscience and give the people their right. Don't mess around. Don't be a deceiving machine working for these dark machines. What I'm trying to say is that they will come and eliminate you. Ya Yahudi, ya Muslim, oh Muslim, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him. And there is another hadith, oh Adami, oh human or son of Adam, there is a Jew, come, he's behind me, come and kill him. And you can see how the so-called, those who call themselves Jews are bringing attention. I mean, there is a lot of demonstration, a lot of people, I mean, with due my respect, not all of them. But so many people are complaining from the Jews. They are rich, they are causing this problem, they are causing the problems. Look what they did there, look what the South America, whatever, the Middle East. Even in parts of the world, Russians go, East Europe, and Africa. People are saying the so-called, I mean, look at the history. So I'm talking about the prophecies about the so-called Jews, those who call themselves Jews. There is prophecies about the so-called Christian, how darkness they are gonna, Satan will drag them. Yes, that's the truth. And others, even among the so-called Hindus, the Bathaniyin, and even the Pharisees, the so-called Shiite. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Subyan al-Quraysh, he talked about a lot. Just wake up and لا تموتن إلا, don't die except if you are at this level of Islam. And be easy on yourself before Allah. If you are on the accurate, perfect side, He is the most merciful, definitely. Uh, uh, I don't want to say a lot, but why you're doing this? As much as you explain to them, you will look at Netanyahu talking to that representative of Britain, the British regime, and he's saying what? He's saying, thank you for supporting us in our self-defense. I mean, for God's sake, I didn't had any opportunity for any type of self-defense, starting because of them, huh? And others who took advantage. Please don't delete my video, please. Please. I mean, just don't delete my video. Let me explain. Let me talk. I'm not. That's how it is. People are saying unbelievable thing about Islam. The videos are there since years, and recently, rubbish, absolute rubbish. People who do not even, unbelievable. Imagine someone who calling himself Christian or calling himself Jew and attacking Islam of Muhammad. See how ignorant and arrogant or the so-called Shiite or so-called Hindus or so-called Buddhists, and lying about the history. I mean, even in the comments, people are cursing me because I'm explaining about their satanic Tawhut gods. Well, I am the one who's cursing you, and my curse will be upon you. This is not an Islamic way. Have I ever said that I'm representing a Muslim way? No. I'm just explaining about the truth, and definitely it's my personal case, with an alignment of understanding Islam, with an alignment of understanding the right in the Ishmaelian land. Please don't delete my video. Thank you very much for being kind.